In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the transmission oil pan on this BMW 535i xDrive. It's going to be located underneath the vehicle at the base of the transmission. Let's get into it. We're going to remove this panel. Use an 8mm socket. Take these screws out. Should be screws over here. Should be another one there. On the front that attaches to the front panel, there's Phillips head screws. Just use a Phillips head screwdriver. Just twist these about 90 degrees. Separate those. And there's a 10mm nut right here. Just use a 10mm socket. Take that off. And the panel comes down. You can pull it right out. With a drain bucket underneath, we're going to drain the fluid out, or most of the fluid out. Use a 10mm Hex socket. Take this drain plug out. There we go. Drain that out. All right, that's mostly drained out. I'm just going to put the drain plug back in, just so it stops leaking out. Just snug that up. Using a T40 socket, we're going to take all the bolts out around the pan. Just going to loosen them up first, and go around with an electric impact after. Gonna leave that a little loose. Okay. That's loose. Just have two screws holding that up. Now just pull these screws out. Just have the drain bucket underneath, just in case. And pull that down. I'm just going to take a rag, just wipe down the area where the gasket sits. If you need to, you can use a scraper or even some brake parts cleaner and just clean it up. Just using a scraper, just getting some of the corrosion off. Now take the pan, make sure you got the gasket in place. You can put a little transmission fluid on the O-ring right there just so it doesn't slip. Get the pan lined up. Push it in place and then get the bolt started. Before we tighten these down, we're just going to put all the bolts in. I'm just going to snug these all up. Now using a torque wrench, I'm going to torque these bolts to 8 foot-pounds. Then I'm just going to cross, start on one corner, go to the other corner. And just keep going around. Until you get all the bolts or screws. I already did that one. Just keep alternating. And double check, make sure you got all of them. To remove the fill plug, this bracket is in our way, so we're going to take that off. I'm using an E10 socket. Take these 2 bolts out. I'm going to take these 2 screws, loosen these up. Take that off, out of the way. Now I'm using a 8mm hex key, or Allen key. I'm taking the fill plug out. It's right above here. Just loosen that up. And pull that fill plug out. Using a fluid transfer pump, you want to install the correct transmission fluid. We're going to fill it until we see a little bit coming out. All right. So it's dripping out. I'm just going to put the plug back in. Make sure you have a drain bucket underneath while you're doing this. And the transmission's not completely full. We still have to start the vehicle up and run it. Shift it through the gears. And then while it's running, we're going to top this off. Now with my foot on the brake, I'm just going to shift through all the gears, reverse, drive. Just go back to reverse, and then back to park. Now the vehicle is still running. You're going to pull the fill plug back out, and we'll top it off. All right, and there we go. We got a steady stream. Now you want to make sure the transmission temperature is between 30 and 50 degrees Celsius. You can use a scan tool to double check that. If not, do the best you can. We're going to put the fill plug back in. Yeah, I'll snug this down. All right, tighten that down. I'm just going to use a little brake parts cleaner. Clean this off. Now take the exhaust bracket. Be careful if the exhaust is still hot. Get that started. all started. I'm going to tighten them down. I'm going to take the shield, get it lined up. And the nut. Get that started. I'm going to take all the screws and get these all started. Now we're going to tighten those down. And if there's more up front, tighten those down. Tighten down the Phillips head screws up front. And you're good to go.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.